Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Crowd Chatter Podcast. And today we're going to be going over the month of May for the National League. Yes, we are going over baseball once again. This is our second actually monthly review of the year. Now, I do recognize that I uploaded the previous videos for this month way too late, and I do apologize for that. That was pretty bad by me. I did that one way later than I should have, but here we are anyway. This one will be coming out though by the end of the night. Today I'm recording this on June 2nd, so this will be out by the end of the day. And obviously it'll be actually up to date on like the last one, which is like 3 weeks late. So I apologize for that. I'll be better about uploading it in the future. But um coming into this video, we're going with the National League, and we'll be starting in the NL East. And going into the NL East, we have what has been the best team actually in baseball. Um, and I'm sure they've been waiting for these guys. This team has been waiting for this moment, and that is the Atlanta Braves, who are sitting. Excuse me. Who are sitting at an absolutely astounding 40-20 to begin the year. They started at 22-10, so that puts them at 18-10 for the month of May. Um, yeah, this is the Braves team that people were hoping for, you know, a couple of years ago. And last year, obviously, was a disaster with the amount of injuries that they had and just other things that did not go according to plan. But you've had guys healthy, and holy moly, has it been good for ATL. I mean, they have whopping 109, a whopping plus 109 run differential. I think they have the most runs scored. Actually, no, they don't have the most runs scored in the league. I forgot one team exists. Well, actually, two teams exist. But their pitching staff has been absolutely dynamite. I mean, you can't expect much better for Atlanta fans. And it has been as good as it possibly can be. And, if you're a Braves fan, my goodness, this is an incredible start. And, you're almost 10 games ahead of the rest of the field in your own division. You got to be absolutely ecstatic with what you're seeing. Now, we saw the Tigers too, and they can lead collapse and lost the division too. But, different teams here. Different teams here. Um, but going into second place, hold on. Sorry, well, something was there. Uh, Going into second place here, we have the Philadelphia Phillies, sitting at 30-29. They also, much like the Boston Red Sox, they actually fired their manager, and also got a different guy. But unlike the Red Sox, they've actually turned it around pretty well. Going into the last video when they fired said manager, they were 12-19, so that puts them at also 18-10 for the month. Believe it or not. So just copying and pasting the Atlanta Brave record. But really good month here for the Phillies. I mean, obviously the numbers aren't necessarily reflecting that, as they're still a little unsightly, and they're actually number of runs scored is along the lines of as bad as the Tigers, which is a little scary. But it's been a way better month for them. They've significantly improved, and sure, it's still not as good as they would like it to be, but um, it's been way better since the start of the year. And, it's starting to look a little bit more normal again. And like I said, yes, this is still very underwhelming for what people expected out of this team. But considering where they were, this is a major improvement. And now we'll see, can this continue? Can they go into the month of June and, you know, uh, repeat basically the exact same thing? Because if they can, well, then they'll put them in a much better record. And we're even talking a lot differently and stuff. So, Um, definitely major improvement, definitely encouraging for Philly fans, but you're still a long ways away from that division lead. And then we have the surprise of this division being the Washington Nationals, who are very surprisingly sitting at a very impressive 31 and 30. Going into the last month, they were sitting at 15 and 17. So I mean, they're only at 16 and 13 for the month. They've only gone a little bit above 500. But the big surprise to me for the Nationals has been the runs scored number right here. That is the highest in Major League Baseball. As surprising as that is, the Washington Nationals have become Major League Baseball's best offensive team. They've been that good offensively, which is a little crazy to think about that the Washington has been that good hitting. But for as good as they've been hitting, they've been just as bad pitching, which is eerily similar to what the A's did last year. Except I think this is even more extreme than that because I think even the A's didn't have the best offense in baseball. They had I think it was top 10. But this is really the top in both regards. They have the top offense and the bottom, and they really have the best hitting and the worst pitching. So we add some pitchers, and man, we'll see where this Washington team can go. But right now, they're lacking some pitching. Maybe get some better pitchers over there, Nationals. Maybe you shouldn't have traded Kyle Finnegan to us in the first place. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, obviously. But rough month for or I'm sorry, good month for the Nationals. Rough pitching for the Nationals, but the hitting has been well over expectations. They just need to figure out a way to stop teams from scoring even more than that. And I kind of mentioned this with whoever it was earlier. I mentioned them losing games like 9-7 or something like that. I think it might have been Houston. Uh, but they need that is something they're gonna have to change. Or they're gonna win some more games. And then we have the Miami Marlins sitting at 27 and 34. Um, this isn't the best of teams here. They're at 15 and 16 going into this month here, so they've been 11 and 18 in this month here. I mean, they're not great. They're also not terrible, I guess. I mean, they're just Miami's kind of there. To me, they're just not a overly impressive team. They're just kind of a slightly below average one, I guess I'll say. I mean, that's more or less what I classify the Marlins as. They're not fantastic, but they're also just not awful. They're just kind of meh. Or I guess I like a. I don't know. I don't know what to really say about the Marlins. Nothing really impresses me. I mean, they have Sandy Alcantara, who I think has been a little bit better. Has been better, way better than last year, but still not amazing. Yeah, I think he had a good start and then had a bit of a rough patch or something. I don't know, but the Marlins just don't really have a ton over there. It's just kind of a bunch of guys. And then last has been a major disappointment this year, and the New York Mets at 26 and 34, which is still improvement from where they were actually going into this month, which is kind of scary because they are 10 and 21. So they've been 16 and 13 for the month of May here. So they've actually been a little bit above 500, but still has not been a good look for them. A lot has not gone right for them, and all the guys that they paid have just not produced. um, it's been a disaster over there in Queens, and I think Met fans are starting to get a little fed up with it. It has not gone how I'm sure they were hoping, and the Mets are really just finding themselves in a position where they're consistently underperforming and consistently not getting getting to the expectations that they, had put on themselves, and are consistently falling short of those numbers. So, um, obviously not what you want, but you know, it is what it is. Um, and then we go to the NL Central, and this is where things get a little crazy because this division has been um, pretty much neck and neck all the way through, and it's still neck and neck even at this point. And in the last video, uh, there was not a single team in the division that was below 500. Um, Actually, a team that was the lowest below five, well, no, that was even close to 500 was the Pirates, and they were at 500. So, um, everybody in this division has been really good. We'll start with the Brewers, who are actually in, who are in fourth to start the month, and now are in first. So at 36-21, they've had an outstanding month. They were at 16-14 coming into the month of May here. They've been 20-7 in the month of May, but I think the thing to really look at here is this pitching number because my goodness, what the heck? I mean, they got a decent amount of runs scored. It's not like they've been bad offensively, but my goodness, that pitching number is ridiculous. Um, yeah, so the pitching staff has been outstanding. And they've certainly been able to put runs up on the board, but um, yeah, when you still have less than 200 runs allowed at this point in the season, props to you. I think you did your job. I don't know what else to really say, but the pitching staff has been outstanding. They even have Brandon Woodruff, and they're still doing this well. Or Freddie Peralta, or Corbin Burns, who were the big guys they had before. So, um, wow, not much to really say about that. But the Brew Crew has been pretty darn impressive for this month here. And then you have the St. Louis Cardinals sitting at 18. Or I'm sorry, St. Louis Cardinals sitting at 31-27, who are in a three-way tie for second place because there's a bunch of teams are just hanging out there because they all have pretty much the same record. Well, I think they literally all have the same record. Just some have played a little bit more than others. The Cardinals are at 18-13 coming into this month, so they more or less have the same record. I think they went one game under because they're at, I think, is that 13-14. Um, this is actually I mentioned this in the last month. This is the youngest team in baseball. So this is just a lot of hotshot young guys out there having some fun and hey, getting some good results from it. But these are just some good players. I mean, you got some guys who are having some big time seasons, like big time prospect for a while. Jordan Walker has been very impressive for them. JJ Weatherholt, who was a top end prospect coming into the year, they brought him into the opening day lineup, and he's impressed for them. They've had some pitchers who have done pretty well. I mean, they brought a lot of guys up, and they've done well. So for the Cardinals, you gotta be happy. Obviously you're in a very tough and honestly pretty good division that's been very tightly contested. Um, but really, I mean, you're in a pretty good. You're in a solid spot. I mean, you're in second place. You have a decent record. You're in the playoff chase. I mean, I don't think there's really more you can ask that. But for the Cardinals, really good thus far. And then there's the other team in this division that I don't think anyone expected to be this good, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're at 32-28. Um, I didn't even know they had this, but apparently they had 300 runs scored on the year. Where'd that come from? Starting last month, they were at 16-16. I mentioned that earlier. And like I said, no one in this division was below 500 coming into the month. There's still no one below 500. But for this month, they have been 16 and 12. Yes, 12. I did that math right. They've been 16-12 this month. The pitching has been decent, honestly. It hasn't been like horrible. It hasn't been amazing. It hasn't been horrible though. Paul Skeens actually hasn't totally lit the world on fire. He's been good, but he hasn't necessarily been, putting up ridiculous numbers like, we've been seeing. Like I said, he's been really good, and he's certainly been, an ace caliber pitcher, but, we're just used to seeing Cy Young, caliber numbers from the guy, and, well, he's not necessarily doing that, but he's still putting up some very good numbers that, obviously qualify for ace material. Then you have some other pitchers here and there who are giving them decent stuff, and that's kind of really it. Um, but really, other than that, I mean, with the offense, I mean, they have the former number one prospect in baseball coming into this year, and Connor Griffin. They've got Brian Reynolds. They've got I don't even know if he's still even playing for them or if he's a backup at this point. But Marcell Ozuna, the big one that has turned it around here is O'Neal Cruz. He's been great for the Pirates this year. Defense is still a disaster for that guy, but the offense has completely broken open this year. But this is just a good team. So far this year, they've been very impressive. Won their last three, 6-4 in their last 10. I mean, hey, the Pirates maybe have finally turned a corner. And I'm thinking if that's what Pirate fans are going to get, they're going to be very happy to finally actually see wins. I feel like it's been ages since they finally saw that. And then we have in fourth the Chicago Cubs at 32 and 28. This team is like a tale of two teams. I don't remember when their win streak and losing streak started because they had two of them, I think, in like the same month. They had like a 10-game win streak and a 10-game losing streak. I don't know how you even do that, but they did. Um, but going into this month, they were 20 and 12. So that puts them at uh, 12 and 16 for the month of May. Uh, yeah, which team are you? You the team that won 10 games or lost 10 games? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. Like it's so weird to me how you can even realistically do that. Like because it's such a drastic difference. I mean, winning 10 in a row and then turning around and immediately losing 10 like winning 10 in a row and then immediately losing 10 or immediately losing 10 in a row. I kept saying it too fast. It's just like how do you do that? Do you just go so hot for so long and then immediately just completely cool off and you can't do anything right? I've never seen that before. And it wasn't like they had like a 10-game win streak, first month of the year, and then the last month of the year they had a 10-game losing streak. That makes sense. But no, it's like in the stretch of like a week, they had a 10-game win streak and then a 10-game losing streak. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. So it's been good and bad. I don't know. It's weird to judge the Cubs this month because it's like, okay, well, if you're a team that won 10 games, I have a lot of high hopes for it. But if you're a team that lost 10 games, oh boy. But I guess let's find some consistency. Like, let's go back to the team. What was working when we won 10 games, right? Uh, but for the Cubs, I mean, kind of all over the place. Like I said, all over the place. You had a really good stretch, a really bad stretch. Now you're just kind of been bad. Although this is not long after that 10-game losing streak, so a lot of numbers kind of reflect the yikes bad streak that they had. But yeah, I'd just be like, find some consistency. I know the pitching staff is a little bit more on the weaker end. I mean, they don't necessarily have a great pitching staff. They more so rely on their offense to score runs. But just find a happy medium somewhere. Just I feel like winning 10 and losing 10 is very um, unhealthy. I'm trying to come up with a different word, but I couldn't come up with that. But staying in last here is the Cincinnati Reds at 30 and 29, who were actually leading this division coming into this month. Go figure. And the Cubs were actually right behind them in second place, a half a game back, and now here they are in last and second to last. That's kind of how this division goes. It seems like. But they were 20 and 11 coming into this month. They've had a 10 and 18 month here. And yeah, I mean, the pitching staff has completely imploded. They have almost near I mean, I talked about the Nationals having some really rough pitching. The Reds aren't that far behind it with how many runs they've been giving up. They have a decent offense. They have some decent hitters, but just the pitching staff has been very, very rough. Their their starting pitching has been giving up too many runs. That's really the biggest thing. I know their closers also out as well. But they've been giving up way too many runs with their starting pitchers, and it's been a rough go for this month here. You know, a team that made the playoffs, of course, last year, made a little bit ahead of schedule, but overall, it's the Reds. We'll see if they can turn things around, but definitely not. I'm sure what you're looking for if you're a Reds fan. And then we have the NL West here, and let's just start with the team that's going to win the World Series, otherwise known as the LA Dodgers. I mean, they're, they're the best team in baseball. There's no other way of really saying it. I talked about this in the last video. They've just been even better. They're 38 and 22, still behind the Braves at 40 and 20. I don't I don't know where that 40 and 20 is coming from. I know they're a very good team, but I don't think anybody really thought they'd be 40 and 20 at this point. But 38 and 22 for the Dodgers. They're sitting at 18 and 11 for the month. I mean, what else did it say? They're the Dodgers. They have arguably the best hitting and the best pitching in baseball, along with the best closer, although he is on the IL right now. So we'll see if they can get him back soon. He also wasn't even good when he was playing. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe maybe going to LA didn't help him. I don't know. But for the Dodgers, like I said, just great team. I mean that they are good. There's no doubting that. So for the Dodgers, I mean, great team, great overall, great everything. Pitching has actually been the best in baseball. The hitting has also been the best in baseball. So you got everything there. Um, Not much more to say other than they're outstanding. And then you have the San Diego Padres, which has been a very interesting month for them. They're at 32 and 26. They're at 19-11, just behind the Dodgers. Actually, going into this month, they had a rough go at it, and there's one main reason why. But they for this month they're at 13 and 15, so just a little. I didn't have it. Yeah, no 13. No, I did have math right. I think yes, 13 and 15. I don't know why I'm okay. I did that math right. 13 and 15, a little below 500. Biggest problem for the Padres. It's very odd, but they have been horrible offensively. The hitting has been disastrous. And this is gonna sound crazy. Their hitting has been so bad to the point they're worse than the Tigers. And not just worse than the Tigers, they're the worst in baseball. They have the least amount of runs scored in all of baseball right now. To me, that's wild to think about, especially when you got guys like, Fernando Tatis and Manny Machado on your roster, and I mean, you got all these darn star hitters, and you're telling me you can't hit more than the darn Tigers have been sucking it here? Like, what? I don't get it. I mean, Tatis has had a pretty rough season. I mean, he had gone almost all the way into June without hitting a homer until, like, I don't know, 2 days ago. Manny Machado has been hitting well under the Mendoza line all year. He's at darn 170 something. Oh no, I have him in fantasy. First drafted hitter, and the guy all of a sudden decides, oh yeah, I can't hit over the Mendoza line anymore. What the heck? But yeah, just offense has really been a struggle for the Padres, and shockingly, they still actually are above 500. I mean, 500 a month, I guess. 32 and 26. I mean, only 5 games off first. Man, if you can find some offense, you might be back in the mix again. But just no offense to speak of at the moment. And as long as that continues, they're gonna have a hard time just beating anybody. And then next we have the Arizona Cardinals, or Arizona Cardinals. The heck, this isn't the NFL. Arizona Diamondbacks. Sorry, um, Arizona Diamondbacks at 32 and 27. They were at 16 and 15 going into this month. That puts the Diamondback, almost said Cardinals again. Uh, that will put the Diamondbacks actually at let's see. I'm sorry, I have to do math again. Said earlier, not good at this. 16 and 12. Yes, 16 and 12 for the month. Um, so for the Diamondbacks, I mean, there's been a good stretch. They have some good. They have good hitting. They have some pitchers that are actually doing pretty well, and guys like Michael Soroka and Eduardo Rodriguez, which is a weird one too, that I don't think anyone ever expected to be this good. But hey, they both have been doing pretty darn well. They just beat the Dodgers yesterday. They'll have two more against them here at home. So big series for them. They'll want to win these for sure. And they won one yesterday, and Paul Sewald got a save. Who that is actually their closer. Which I mean, if you're a Tiger fan, that kind of scares you because you remember that guy with us. um, but hey, I mean, they've been good. Offense has been, for the most part, pretty solid. The pitching staff is starting to come into its own, and I mean, man, you gotta be happy with what you're getting right now. Um, so for Arizona, I mean, I'm sure this probably wasn't necessarily what you were expecting, but hey, you gotta be happy with it, man. You gotta be happy with it. And then we have the San Francisco Giants. Holy moly, what happened here? 23 and 37. Now, I apparently never scrolled it on the previous video as to what their record actually was, but I think it actually might have been 18 losses they had at that point. They were 13, well, might have been 13 and 19. I don't know. I'll say 18. I'll be generous. So in either case, though, it's still bad. That puts them. They had 18 losses. That would put them at 10 and 19 for the month. Um, just bad, really bad. I mean, the offense has also been disastrous for them. They have not been able to score. They've been slightly better, but the pitching staff has now been getting absolutely destroyed, and they've been giving up runs a lot to a lot of people. They have a new manager this year who comes from the college ranks of Tennessee, and it's been a disaster. I mean, this is obviously a major disappointment for San Francisco Giant fans. Um, you want much better numbers than this. And I mean, you've just completely fallen flat on your face. You're 15 games out first. It's been all bad, and it's only getting worse. I mean, when your numbers are on, are on par with how bad the Rockies are, that's how you know it's bad. As the Rockies are only a half game behind them right now. So this is not a good look if you're a Giants fan. Um, and I talk about the Tigers being bad. Yeah, they're on par with them too. Is what I'm saying. This is really, really bad. But the Giants, just yikes. This is really, really rough. And then we have in last place the said Colorado Rockies, 23 and 38. They were at 14 and 18 coming into this month, so they are 9 and 20. Um, yeah, yeah, that would be bad. But yeah, I think 10 and 9 or 9 and 20, 10 and 19. Yeah, that'd be a game difference. That would make sense actually. Okay. That probably was what it was then, 13 and 18. So yeah, I think I had the Giant record right. Yay. But for the Rockies, I mean, do I really have to say anything about this? We know the Rockies are bad. Um, we know they stink. We know that they just don't really have a good team. They're not competing. They're in no position to go anywhere. I don't have another really way. I guess of really saying they're straight up bad. But they're not good. They have even the gimmick of Coors Field is not saving them. So it's a tough go. But for the Rockies, I mean, hey, you're here at least. I don't know what else to really say there. But it is what it is. They're just not. They don't play. They're not playing well. They have not been well, and I doubt is really going to get better unless they come across a miracle or something. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have more videos coming to you soon because starting this week, big announcement here. Starting this week, the NFL and NCAA football off-season videos begin. Yes, we are bringing those back. It is football season, or at least it is for us people who want to talk about the off season all the time. um, it's getting pretty close. We're only a couple months away. Starting September, we'll have football back once again. So we'll have videos coming to you. Starting with the AFC East this week. Wasn't on today, but ran out of time. So probably Thursday is when you'll see that video come out. And then come next week, you'll see the other videos, and so on and so forth. Just keep following along. It'll be the ACC will come out along with the NFC East video, and then you can do the math from there of how each one's going to work. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoy the next video that comes out as well. But until then, I'll see you next time. Adios, everybody.